And we are live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to tonight's show.
Hey guys, how you doing? So we're doing a
Buddy, welcome to... Oops,
we're
sorry.
doing a part two of this whole debacle that's going on. We're going to be watching some videos, basically going through some articles, disproving some conspiracy theories, yeah, stuff like that. But
A lot of conspiracy theories.
yeah, there's significant number of conspiracy theories being kind of pushed by our favorite YouTuber, which I'm kind of shocked that he's
Yeah.
actually doing that. But anyhow, I guess it's kind of weird. It's kind of like full circle. But yeah, so right now we're gonna probably start with basically a synopsis. This is actually a pretty good little documentary that
Hey,
was
BC.
hi
Sorry.
BC by it was created by I'm gonna get the chat a moment. It's a Daily Wire. Obviously, I mean, it is a Ben Shapiro like second one, but he did a good job with this one. I like the interviews they did,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like it's definitely worth a watch. So if you're, sometimes they do good work. So there's the channel if anyone wants to. Um, so we'll wait like a minute or two, and then we'll start it up.
Yeah.
But it's pretty shocking actually. Pretty fucking shocking.
And the longer it goes unhandled, it seems like the more of the conspiracy theories and more damage as well that comes out of it.
Yeah, like the YouTuber I'm talking about is like Shinema Shogun, that basically is now pushing like a false flag conspiracy now with this whole thing. And I was like sitting there, I was like, what? Like originally someone on Discord sent me that, like his video. I mean, like his thumbnails are pretty, clickbait bait type of shit. Hi voices.
Hey,
Hi fishes.
voices.
Oh, thank you, voices.
Thank you so much.
But then he starts talking about the conspiracy theory about like my ID, and we're gonna get into that. But I was just like shocked. I was like, "What are you doing, bro? Like, didn't we
It's
did didn't
very
we?
far out there.
Yeah, like didn't we go after Ryan Upchurch for fucking conspiracy theories, and now you're fucking jumping in with the conspiracy theory about this my ID thing? And if you didn't know, it's basically the fire department. If I'm going to pull up the article, but
Mm.
since I'll start the video. But basically, the fire department, I think, in that town. I'm pulling up the article. The article I'm reading from is Daily Dot. I saw another one, but a free ID program for senior citizens puts East Palestine firefighters in crosshair of the train derailment conspiracy theorists. The conspiracy theorists are claiming that recently launched medical ID program in East Palestine, Ohio, proves that the recent train derailment was a false flag or a government plot to track citizens. And I would probably say a little too late. One, we all pay taxes every year, so that pretty much tracks you down. Two, I think Bush basically did that whole they built the whole system to track everyone down in 2000. So a little too late, guys. After the New Fork Southern freight train carrying hazardous materials derailed on February 3rd, a controlled burn of several rail cars days later led to the spread of chemicals throughout the town, with the state officials slow to update the public. Panic filled the information void. While some local citizens tried to document real serious concerns, conspiracy theorists also latched on. Now, a medical ID program introduced in East Palestine last year is being cited as evidence that the derailment was a purposeful act on behalf of the government. The program, which uses the services known as My ID, lets local residents purchase everything from bracelet tags to stickers and wallet cards with a unique QR codes that hold their personal medical information. The program, which was suggested by East Palestine's fire chief Keith Drebbeck, is aimed specifically at aiding emergency services and providing medical care to the community. Speaking with local media in mid-October, East Palestine Mayor Trent Conaway hailed the program, which entirely optional, as a major benefit to the area's elderly population. I think it's a very good system, Mrs. Conaway told the Morning Journal at the time. Quote, we have a lot of elderly people in our community, and I think it would be very beneficial to EMS responders that can quickly pull all the pertinent information up. Despite the relatively low-tech options being identical to countless others, such as those offered on smartphones and other wearable devices, conspiracy theorists have suggested that the derailment was some part of some type of sinister plot to make local residents accept the medical program. So it's some wackadoo. We'll go through
There's a lot. There's a lot.
And we put the article up. Then we'll play the Daily Wire one. I kind of like the video, but like since we're kind of on the subject, this is the wackadoo that's basically saying the conspiracy theory.
Hola, Nick. I had to double check. Hola, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
How are y'all today? We're good.
We're good. We're just now we're gonna have to kind of call out Shinema Sogan for conspiracy theories now.
Hey, little Nicks and Sassy.
And kind of disprove his crazy conspiracy theory. Matter of fact, let's watch.
Now, before we do this, when it comes to Cinema Shogun, we don't think he's a bad person. We don't think anything like that. It's just sometimes we wonder what content people put out there to influence other people. Do you get what I'm saying? Like sometimes it can be bad.
Yeah. So this is where the conspiracy theory kind of comes from. This is a TikToker. Of course, the conspiracy theorists are on TikTok.
Situation, even though it's absolutely nuts. But I want to show you something that I just found doing a little bit of digging about medical IDs. I found this news clip from their town from.
Oh, by the way, it says they're not going to stop until we're all tagged like animals. It's under the TikTok.
October of last year. I'm going to show you.
East Palestine is known as the place to be. It's way ahead of the curve on a program to provide better treatment for anyone in the event of an emergency. I learned how it works and how it could help everyone in East Palestine. My ID provides quick medical information for emergency responders. Darlene Chapman is the outreach coordinator for this project, and she's an EMT.
If they're in a situation where they can't tell us or if they don't have any family around, this is something that would make my life easier.
My ID works by taking a camera phone and pointing it at a QR code. It provides valuable medical information such as allergies, breathing difficulties, or other conditions, so you get proper treatment and care.
If anybody sees the QR code, you'll be able to scan this and get the information. So it helps that person not necessarily just hear, but
Tony, do you think this woman's working for the Illuminati?
No, I don't. It's a medical.
Sure?
Yeah, no, it's a medical bracelet. We've all had one.
I don't know. I think that woman's working for the Illuminati. Probably
it has
the New World Order.
You think she is?
Yeah, she's probably working for the New World Order.
She looks like a nice lady who makes the Kool-Aid for them.
Yeah, could be.
In the nation.
There are a few options for My ID. A bracelet, key fob, necklace, or attachment on your watch band.
Hello.
You can choose the one which fits your lifestyle best. That's up to you. Orders will start in January. The fire department has already collected $5,000 in donations to help.
That's our ultimate goal. We want to be able to give this for free to the citizens and provide them with that extra layer of care so that we can better treat them.
The offer includes Unity Township, which is served by the East Palestine Fire Department.
And now they're talking about rolling it out now because of what just happened. I mean, I don't want to sound like dramatic, but like they're at war with us. Like, do you guys see what's happening?
So a good some charity, someone's donating money to help elderly people so they can actually get some sort of like medical, proper medical treatment if in an emergency. And now this lady and people are actually stating that they're at war with us. They want to tag us like animals, and they purposely set off this derailment so that they can give a false flag event to trick people.
Yeah, well, you know what? I have a lot of things to say, but I don't know if it's appropriate to say it, so I'm not going to say it. No, I was just going to say the government has always tagged us. We've always had these are just updated 2020, type of medical bracelets. You know what I mean? But you can get medical bracelets at CVS, and they engrave everything, or you can get a medical bracelet. I just think the timing is kind of like, okay, the timing is weird,
was started last year.
Yeah, I think it's just a coincidence. I wish my city was doing it.
Okay,
that would
now
be cool.
The user, that was the TikTok person. One of the users argued that the land was purposely poisoned in order to allow the United Nations to seize the land. Agenda 2030, any land deemed toxic can be seized by the government and turned into a 15-minute city. I don't even know what the fuck a 15-minute city is. One Twitter user said of the video, so now besides having residents use my idea, this pops up too. It was all planned. They knew Falk and the government are in on it together. Why is Biden not helping? That's why. Then this is the one. I don't know where they got
always
this.
want to make it political. They always do. I mean, this is political, but it's just like, well, what can we do to help? Let's not make it worse and argue of who someone didn't do something. Let's help these people out.
Yeah, but as I reported in October, the city fire chief noted that he came up with the idea after the medical ID system was used at a previous firefighting job on South Carolina. Speaking with Daily Dot, Dribak stated that no connection exists between the derailment and the program. Quote, any relations between my ID program and the derailment is nothing more than a conspiracy theory. Although the suggestion that a small city government in Ohio was somehow involved in a train derailment for simply implementing a voluntary system that gives medical workers the ability to check which medications an individual takes may seem ludicrous to some, conspiracy theorists are convinced that they've uncovered unprecedented wrongdoing. So now Shinman Sogan, I don't know what the fuck he's doing, decides to make this video, which, you know, there's a lot of scared people in Palestine, rightly so, because it is a pretty bad situation going on there.
It's a horrible situation.
And I don't, you know,
you can't feed the fire.
Yeah, I think I mean, like, what people need in Palestine is the right information and the way to get, you know, and basically not conspiracy theories. They need to get proper representation. They need to get lawyers. They need to get money, maybe if they want to move or they want to, you know, for lost income, because we're going to watch a video, a little documentary that's going to show like how people's businesses are going to be completely fucked because of this, and how
Grandma Sherry,
and how farmlands are completely fucked. But you have some people who are just simply milking this, making videos constantly every fucking day with like clickbait titles. Sounds familiar. And then fanning the flames of misinformation to scare the shit out of people instead of just properly informing them. So, I mean, it's just crazy. Absolutely crazy to see Cinema Shogun make this type of video.
Yeah, he's not this like I don't know him personally, but to me, watching his content, he's not this person. So I wonder why he's jumping on it.
Like, watch. We're going to play it by point. We're going to watch.
At this point, I must say that this East Palestine, Ohio story continues to slightly, just slightly, blow my mind every day. You know, I wish I could say that this is the first time I've seen or experienced something like this, but that would not be true, because we all lived out the last couple of years, which have been the craziest years of my life, dealing with the beer bug, or better yet, dealing with the government's response to the beer bug. So we've been through some crazy times recently, and maybe that's one of the reasons why a lot of people aren't looking at this East Palestine story as if it's a big deal, because we just got through some of the craziest times of our life. And people aren't ready to start looking at other catastrophes, even though this one is more of a real catastrophe. But hey, people aren't ready for that, because we just got through all of this craziness, and the crazy stuff we experienced, it's going to desensitize, or it did. It desensitized us completely to a lot of the other crazy stuff that we're going to see in our lifetime. Make no mistake about that. But what blows my mind about this story is all of the weird coincidences surrounding this story out in East Palestine, and how a lot of people kind of are turning a blind eye towards it. I mean, we have a Netflix movie that basically showed this whole thing happen, that was filmed in the same town, that used residents of this town as extras in the movie. That was weird enough for me.
What
right?
movie?
I saw the summary of the movie, and it was one of those, like, I don't know. It was a pretty boring movie, to be honest. But, like, a lot of people, it's a little weird that it's kind of big coincidence, but it's simply a coincidence.
I think the reason why they did it in that location and why it's such a coincidence is we saw how the train tracks looked. We saw a train on them, so anybody could have predicted, you know, something bad's going to happen here.
Yeah,
you know,
it was like one of those, like, I gotta watch the movie again, but it was so fucking boring. I was like, oh my god.
It's called White Noise.
Yeah, that was the movie. I was watching and I was like, it you know, it's one of those like it met like a message. Well, I don't know, man. I watched it. It wasn't like exactly how this guy's explaining it. Like
Yeah.
it was like exactly the same thing. It was something else a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that movie, what's that movie with that came out with Marky Mark in it, Mark Wahlberg and them, and it's a pandemic.
Oh, it was adapted from a book from 1985. I didn't know that.
And it was like it was like a bat that bit a pig, and it was a movie and stuff. And guess what happened? You know what I mean? Like
close enough. It was a penguin, they said. But anyway,
that's what she. Well, they're saying something different now, but that's another show. That's another show.
I doubt you'll ever get the real story from.
Oh no.
It totally predicted everything that happened out there, and then you have this digital ID program that was launched right before this train derailment, where the government.
Now, how you see how he's saying right before it was launched a year before, so
yeah,
and the program's been out. The medical ID has been out for years. Like I saw one on YouTube for like 6 years ago. They were advertising it. It's nothing like new, like the New World Order. Like it suddenly just came out and this is the experiment. Exactly. But like, let's continue.
It shows this town of all towns. It shows this town to be part of a new program where they track these people's health and how they react to certain situations. Really weird.
And react to certain situations. I'm pausing a lot. Fair use, by the way. React to certain situations. This thing has been out for 6 years, maybe more. And it's just basically so that you can scan it and find out if the person has diabetes or high blood pressure or anything like that.
Yeah.
So this guy's making it sound like it's like it's reading their minds and shit. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's basically like a barcode that can read your medical. You're like, oh, this is the medications you're on. That's all it is, and it helps.
Yeah, like what the fuck are you doing, Cinema?
And then we have this mysterious plane crash in Arkansas that just so happens to be carrying some of the team responsible for investigating the chemicals out there in East Palestine.
Wait, what?
And we have all of this weird stuff.
All right, let me see. What's this one? I forgot to look that one up.
Thank you, Grandma Sherry. And hey, kind of like a cloud.
Just 1 second. You talk.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you're. No, I just don't understand. Like weird things happen beforehand, but this isn't a weird thing. This is just people updating medical bracelets, which we need, especially going through COVID and stuff. We need to know if people have, if they have COPD, how old they are, what medications they are, what they're on and stuff like that. I don't see a problem with this. The timing looks weird. Yeah, it does. But I think only people who have too much time on their hands are going to be like, this is a conspiracy. It's weird. To me, it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is just like he's kind of doing a Ryan Upchurch. I mean, like you're just like attaching random fucking weird shit together to make it more conspiracy than it was. Can't we just all just sit down and stop with the fucking conspiracy theories and just say, most likely, this is what I think happened. The company was very greedy. Mm-hmm. They did not want to do any maintenance. They reduced their workforce and they used their extra money to pay off lobbyists to pay off senators so that they wouldn't be pushed. And both parties don't give a shit about it. Yeah. And they're both, and right now, like the Republican Party is using it to fuck over the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party is going to point their fingers and say Trump deregulated the train system. And
it doesn't solve anything,
and that's basically what's going to happen, and that's the situation. But yet this guy wants to make it sound like the New World Order is purposely exploding this fucking train so that they can give them bracelets to monitor their health, so they can monitor their behavior. And it's like, what? No.
Going on, and what are people focused on? People are focused on, I'm mad that Donald Trump went to East Palestine. Or people are focused on, I'm happy that Donald Trump went to East Palestine.
I don't give a shit who goes there.
Pissed that Joe Biden didn't go to East Palestine. Our people are focused on, I'm going to blindly support Biden, even though he didn't go and he chose to go to Ukraine. It's like everyone's focused on the politics, and I understand. I understand that politics plays a role in everything, but for the love of all things holy or unholy, don't ignore all of these weird things just because you want to argue over politics. There's a time and a place for everything. And if people want to argue about politics surrounding this story, fine. But when the politics and these little situations become bigger stories than the fact that we have a Netflix movie that showed this happen to this town, that recruited members of this town to be in the movie, then we have this mysterious plane crash and the digital IDs.
Wait, didn't they? Hold on, pause it. Also, in the start of the pandemic, wasn't there a movie that they were like, oh my god, Netflix released a movie and it's about a pandemic?
Yes.
And so this is like the same song and dance.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. And Sticky pointed out that it was based on a book from 1985. So unless the writers of that book was Nostradamus, then I probably.
Ooh, I love Nostradamus.
I'm sure you do.
I really do.
Let me see. I mean, and the problem with this guy is he says these things about the crash. He doesn't show any sort of document where the fuck he found this, where the testers of the crash, doesn't do that. That would be helpful. But anywho, let me see, Tim. There was 3 things that were very strange in the event, and I'm dealing a lot right now. But you need to get off that high horse, and some weird crap happened here. I don't know what high horse I'm talking about when someone's trying to say that this is a false flag attack. It's not a false flag attack. So I will stay on my high horse about that because it's not a false flag attack. And we'll watch the continue of the video and you'll tell me if I'm on my high horse.
Let's not forget about the digital IDs. And speaking of the digital IDs, it just so happens that a local farmer in the area has now spoken out about this little ID program. And he's revealing some new details. Let's go ahead and listen to what he has to say. Local farmer sounds the alarm. Why did East Palestine launch My ID emergency service to survey biometrics 1 week before Ohio train derailment? A man who lives 9 miles away from where the train carrying toxic chemicals that derailed in eastern Ohio reached out to sound the alarm on the bizarre coincidences that continue to pile up surrounding the incident. Bob Moore, a 70-year-old farmer and longtime resident of East Palestine, initially ignored local news reports, urging residents to sign up for My ID, a new biometric tracking device that provides first responders updates about an individual's health conditions amid an emergency or a major disaster. But the suspicious timing of the government's distribution of this health monitoring digital ID exactly 1 week before the disaster warrants answers, says Moore. It was exactly 1 week before the derailment happened, Moore said. The people were asked to go to the local fire department in downtown East Palestine to pick up the My IDs. They began monitoring your physical activity, your heart rate, your respiration, anything you might have been exposed to. I see this as the kind of sensor you would put on an astronaut or an athlete that you wanted to track to see how they would react to stress or being winded, or in this instance, chemical exposure. It's a monitoring device. On January 26th, Ohio local affiliate announced East Palestine would begin making an important medical device available to all 4,700 residents starting on January 29th. The My ID program is ready to roll out in East Palestine. It's a medical information system that helps first responders provide care. My ID provides wearable devices or key FOBs that have QR codes. Emergency responders use a camera phone to access important medical information that is stored on your My ID. Moore was aghast by the rollout of a new digital surveillance program and agitated by the prospect that residents in his town would once again line up to be guinea pigs following the mandates the nation had already come.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get into politics, but if you notice, the background's all about politics. By the way,
that's the thing. Whenever anybody says, "I don't want to get the politics involved in it," you're like, okay, politics are going to be involved.
Yeah, am I the only one that's sitting here looking at the background and it's all about politics at this point? The truth of the matter is that the conspiracy theories don't help because it doesn't get to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is that big corporations with lots of money has used it so that they don't have to actually regulate and be regulated by regulators, the police on them, and basically it's allowed them to get away with not updating their braking system. It allowed them to reduce their workforce. and making this like conspiracy theory whereby this is whole new system that comes about. Let me show you the new system. Let me see.
Wait, I got a question. The chemicals that they were shipping, what is that used for? Educate me on that. Like, why do we have these chemicals and why are we putting them on trains?
Well, I mean, they're used for, I don't know, man.
That's the thing. Like, if we don't know what they're being used for initially, then why are we making them?
Well, it's for probably for processing. The issue is that they're supposed to have.
Is it waste? Like processing waste, like from a company, or?
No, it's just used for manufacturing certain things. Here's the news thing.
Okay.
Misinformation is hurting the village. Yeah, I've reported twice on the My ID program, and some of you have sent me the links with conspiracy theories surrounding them. Tonight, the truth about that program and why you'd have to be crazy to believe the theories. The My ID device is as simple as it looks. A modern version of a medical ID bracelet that's been around for years.
There's no tracking devices inside of these. There's no way to track anything with it.
The bracelets have no GPS feature, but the conspiracy theorists are running wild, believing people have been tracked since before the train derailment. Yet that wasn't possible.
Nobody's received any devices up till now. We haven't even distributed them yet.
The East Palestine Fire Department had 60 people sign up to receive a My ID bracelet, key fob, or key ring. They haven't come in yet. My ID allows people to supply the medical information they feel necessary to tell first responders in a situation where they can't relay the information. A first responder just scans a QR code to learn about allergies, medication, and an emergency contact.
You know, instead of us opening up a bracelet and pulling out a little piece of paper that has that information on, or trying to read some kind of engraving on a bracelet, we can now scan it so that all that information pops up.
When the first round of My ID orders come in, they will be distributed. The fire department will continue the program and have additional signups. The conspiracy theorists are trying to ruin what the fire chief feels is an important program.
It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. This program is nothing more than us being able to help the citizens.
And East Palestine had money donated last year to help pay for the break.
Thank you, PVC. Thank you for that. I don't know why I had a brain fart about that. But anyway, let me see. This one is the My ID.
To make PVC. Okay.
Here. This video was made 6 years ago. My ID. So.
For years, My ID has been innovating and evolving the way you manage your healthcare information, built to last. Like other My ID products, it contains access points to your online profile. The My ID pod is thin and comfortable and can interchangeably be placed in a bracelet, necklace, or keychain, with many more options to come. We are working with designers all around the world to bring comfortable, well-designed.
Now, does that sound like what Shinema Shogun's basically describing to you, or does that sound like does that sound like what he's describing to you? It's not.
No, I don't think it's as menacing, or
he's
they're
making
producing these out of malice, or to track your location or anything. I think this is just a medical bracelet updated, which is going to probably help a lot of people, but it's your choice. It's not like they're forcing this on you. They're asking you. They're like, would you like this? You can be a part of the program, or you can get your own out of your own pocket. Like, if there's somebody out there that has a lot of medical issues that's disabled, this could save their life.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate that, like, basically Shinema Shogun is jumping on this like fucking conspiracy thing where he's basically saying like it's tracking down people's information and it's gonna do, it's like it's just crazy. I don't know why he did that.
But it's not being forced on people. It's volunteered. Like, if I want to get the bracelet, I want to get the bracelet. If I want to put my information in, so God forbid anything ever happens to me, they can use it to help me. That's my choice. This isn't like a lab rat and you're fucking tagging them. No, lab rats don't have choices. We as humans, we do have choices.
Yeah. So basically, Shinema, can you please stop with the conspiracy theory whereby you're thinking that there's some sort of like false flag event whereby the government is planning on trying to track everyone's information and everything like that.
That's been
using
going
a
on
medical
since
ID.
2000.
Like,
but,
really, it's just really annoying.
If you're signed up to Google, you're being tracked. If you're signed up to Amazon, you're definitely being tracked. If you're signed up to Facebook, Big Brother's watching. I'm just saying, TikTok. Oh, Big Brother and China is watching. Like you don't. Getting a medical bracelet's not going to track you.
Now, next video we're going to watch. Actually, this is a pretty good one from I think the what is it? Daily Wire Plus. Daily Wire Plus did a very good one because I liked it when I was watching because it actually interviewed the people that were in the town and affected. Now,
exactly, Sticky.
What does Sticky say?
Sticky says they don't need a tracking bracelet. We all have phones. Exactly. Like, I mean, I don't understand that.
Touche.
I mean, I can get how people like to put, connect the dots and stuff, and you're free. You're free to have those conspiracy theories. All I ask of you is don't put a panic. Don't, there's a lot already going on with the citizens in Palestine, Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, they don't need to hear about a possible false flag event. Can we just all agree it was just corporate greed and stupidity, and then just basically try to solve the issue of telling them to put actual working braking systems on there and actually get these people's place cleaned and get them compensated so they can actually move on with their lives?
For a year now, we've been doing this show. We've been telling y'all, you can believe in whatever you want to believe in. You can vote for whoever you want to vote in, but please don't trust the government. Because there's a lot of things we don't know, but that also opens up to a lot of conspiracy theories. Just understand that there's people there being affected, and also people in the 200-mile radius are now being affected by it.
Yeah. Let's play it.
A Norfolk Southern train consisting of 150 rail cars derailed and crashed at 8:55 p.m. on February the 3rd, 2023. The town of East Palestine, Ohio has a population of about 4,700. Many residents could see the fire from their homes. Others parked nearby to watch the flames. What likely no one in town knew the night of the initial crash was that some of those train cars contained highly toxic chemicals. The next morning, as the fire raged on, more information came to light. Roughly 20 cars were listed as carrying hazardous materials, like vinyl chloride and butyl acrylate. The railway at the center of the derailment was Norfolk Southern Railroad. They presented two options: allow the fire to burn out but run the risk of deadly shrapnel if the cars exploded, or guarantee an explosion of the toxic chemicals in what officials referred to as a controlled release.
Why'd you put air quotes under controlled? Because it didn't seem very controlled. It seemed
Thank you, Grandma.
Ohio Governor Mike DeWine and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro signed off on the controlled release. Residents within a 1 by 2 mile area of the crash site were forced to evacuate the town without knowing when they would be able to return. 3 days later, around 4 p.m., the toxic train cars were set ablaze. The explosion looked like a nuclear bomb had gone off. Residents watched on live feeds in nearby safe locations as a pitch-black plume of smoke rose into the afternoon sky. They returned home 2 days later. The surface of nearby creeks were scattered with oily rainbow bubbles, and small fish floated belly up. If the local streams looked this dangerous, residents feared the safety of the well water that ran.
Now, I heard from breaking points, they said almost 45,000 animals or fish or whatever died from this situation so far.
A lot. And there was a lot of farm animals. Kind of cloud. I have no idea about the food being transported on the same train. No idea on that, but I'm pretty sure those tracks have transported food, but those tracks are closed down now. Obviously closed down.
No, they were reopened up. I think in this video it states they were reopened up, I think, as soon as everyone came back.
They didn't fix the tracks, though.
They fixed the tracks, and I think they reopened it. I think in this video they stated that.
Okay.
There were multiple products, yes.
That's horrible. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think they were opened up literally what was it, 3 days or something as soon as everyone came back, so they reopened it. So they didn't really spend. It kind of pushes the whole idea that they did that controlled explosion to open up the tracks as soon as possible. Kind of gives a little legitimacy to that theory.
Yeah, because that. I don't. Did they see? Now I want to know more. Did they lay new tracks down, or did they
you'll find
clean
out
the tracks? Okay.
Ran under the town. Officials said the air quality tests came back safe, and the tap water was fine to drink.
Well, last video we talked about they used their own their own in-house service to test it, and it did not. And when they did a actual outside testing company did it did not come back safe. So yeah.
Hey, Ellie. Giant Eagle grocery chain bottles water there has to pull it from the shelves. Yeah, they probably do.
8 more like that. Shit. Let me see.
Sir, that you yourself would drink it.
Absolutely. If I was there right now, I would drink it.
Man, that man's a great liar.
Look, the experts told us it would be a long shot if there's any problem with this water, because these are deep wells that feed the municipal water supply there.
Residents are back in town now, but they feel symptoms, not safety.
We're still experiencing almost like your tongue was scalded, off and on headaches.
My family lives less than a half mile away from the tracks. People are getting sick. You'll get a headache. I started to get almost a tightness in my chest, like shortness of breath.
DJ Yoakley owns a sports streaming business in town. He welcomed us and said we were the first that agreed to conduct the interview inside. Immediately.
This is pretty shocking, like what happens like next in this video, because it's not even planned, but what happens, so you're going to watch a little bit.
We understood why.
I can't even describe this smell. It's like a gas / nail polish. The toxicologist came in on Sunday and said that it is butyl acrylate, which is a toxin that was on the train, which is a smell that if you go around town right now continues to grow throughout.
Do you mind if we continue this interview outside?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it smells so bad in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that the cameraman is like, can I leave this place because I'm about to pass out?
Yeah.
Jeez. It's making my eyes water.
Yep. But this is the stuff that they tell us, you're okay. Yeah, you're good.
People that I've seen on some of the reports were saying, I've been told it's safe, but I can still smell it. So they're seeing that as a contradictory in terms, or that there's a problem, right? There's something new. But I think it's important to just consider that it may be at a concentration below what would be considered harmful. And so that's one of the questions that I still have out with the CDC and the EPA is what detection technologies are being used? What are the threshold values that are being utilized as the exposure guidelines for this incident to discriminate? This is safe, this is not safe.
Dave Anderson lives in New Galilee, Pennsylvania, over 4 miles from the crash site. The damage went far beyond the evacuation zone. He wants answers, a common sentiment among residents after the explosion.
My first phone calls were to local elected officials just trying to find information and not getting a response, getting recordings and no return phone calls. So obviously the concern and frustration starts to build.
After videos of a contaminated local stream went viral on social media, Governor DeWine addressed the matter.
A section of Sulphur Run that is very near the crash site remains severely contaminated. We knew this. We know this.
He also said that what we're seeing happening in the local streams is the water being dammed in some places and rerouted with fresh water in others to divert around contaminated areas. These makeshift dams were installed after the controlled release to stop the contamination, rather than beforehand. However, signs like this around town have not instilled confidence in the safety of the residents.
I mean, you come through town and the creeks have caution tape around them, and there's people in hazmat filtering the water. It doesn't seem safe. I mean, the numbers are coming back and they say that everything.
And those people are putting themselves in danger to do all that too. Like, it's disgusting. I'm trying to catch up with the comments. The city itself runs off of 4 to 5 wells.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing that's going on. Basically, at one point, the soil is being transported, and then they had to stop.
Mm-hmm.
So EPA had to stop the transport because people in Michigan and Texas did not want the toxic soil be transported to their states, I guess for good reasons. And they weren't even told that the stuff was being transported to their states until afterwards. So that's why it's stopping the cleanup, basically, because they don't know where to transport the toxic soil and stuff like that. So
kinda. I think the first video we did, I think the people doing the testing hired scientists was the train company, wasn't it? Or was it the
No, the train company hired their own kind of like their own company, basically.
Yeah,
But
they're not independent. They're not independent scientists. They're yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Things okay, but it just doesn't seem that way. JD Vance was in town today, really good, taking the press and just answering questions.
We have a community that's been affected by this tragedy that is justifiably very worried about what's going on. And so we need to give people confidence that this is a safe place to live, to work, to raise a family. We did actually go to Leslie Run Creek just to see what it looks like. And I got to say, it really is worrying. I took a stick and I stuck it in the bed of the creek and pulled it along, and chemical bubbled out of the ground.
As for testing, many townspeople said that when the tests were conducted at their homes, the EPA and contractors from Norfolk Southern were in attendance.
And
Sir, I've heard from residents that they are experiencing testing involved with the EPA and Norfolk Southern, and it seems like a bit of a conflict of interest.
Yeah, no, I agree. So what we've heard today, and this is something that I became aware of, I would say, last night, and we tried to follow up on it today, is that the contractor that's doing a lot of the testing is employed by Norfolk Southern. Understandably, a lot of people say, does that pose a conflict of interest? And so we're going to run down a little bit whether there are alternative testing options and how to ensure that that conflict of interest doesn't mean that people aren't getting good tests.
Is that something that is normal in the world of, post-disaster testing?
I think in a situation like this that is pretty grand in scale and scope, that it does make sense that all available resources would be marshaled in order to try to get the most effective and swift response possible.
I think that's perfectly reasonable because one may have resources that the other does not, for example.
We're back in town now. You lifted the evacuation order. We're drinking the water. At least we need to know, are we safe right now? Are our children safe to be able to be here? We just need people that are local leaders, regional leaders, state leaders, and federal leaders to step up to the plate and help us. We just want answers, and they're not.
What happened is that basically, the lab report on the railroad funded sampling indicates the samples were not handled to accordance with Federal Environmental Protection Agency standards, saying Bankley and the aquatic ecologist at Virginia Scientist Community Interface at Advocacy Focused Coalition of Scientists Engineers alerted Huffington Post to sampling errors, called the report extremely concerning. Quote, their results that claim that there were no contamination is not reliable finding, end quote. He said via email, I find this extremely concerning because these results would not be used in most scientific application because the samples were not preserved properly. And this is the same data they are now relying on to say that the drinking water is not contaminated. So, and I believe, Aircom, which is a Dallas-based consulting firm contracted by Norfolk Southern, sampled untreated water from the 5 municipal wells, each about a mile from the derailment site, as well as the treated municipal water on February 10th. Those samples were analyzed by Eurofins, Test America's Laboratories, an environmental testing lab in Canton, Ohio, on February 13th and 15th. According to Eurofins analysis, 5 of the 6 collected samples had pH or acidity levels that exceeded the 2 pH limit allowed under the EPA method listed in the analysis for detecting volatile organic compound, rendering them improper preserved. So that's what they're referring to when in the debacle there.
Hey, Bushes. Hey, Seasons.
How you doing, Bushes?
The village held a packed town hall in an attempt to provide clarity to residents. However, Norfolk Southern, the railroad at the center of it all, skipped at the last minute out of concerns for their safety.
What about our safety? But there was 50 state troopers there. There's our town police there. There was no reason for them to ever feel like they were in danger. They need to do the right thing. It starts by saying we really screwed up because we don't really know the ramifications of what they did yet. We saw that plume of smoke go up. It's frightening. What is that going to do to our kids and grandkids and possible birth defects and disease? I mean, God.
Here's the one shot. The drone would have been
Holy
up
crap.
there. Isn't that insane? I noticed a residue like on this. We have a white table on the porch, and so I wiped it.
That's miles from the crash site.
Yeah, it's a
horrible.
way more significant event than people are letting on.
After not getting
So that's what's like miles from there, and they're
Yeah.
wiping it down. That's what's on there. So obviously that probably went into the dirt and is probably being eaten by the cattle. And probably a lot of these businesses around here are farmlands, and that's could probably devastate their businesses. They're probably going to I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people go bankrupt because of this situation. And I think it's going to take a while for lawsuits to come in. I think, what was it? Deepwater Horizon or something. I think I'm trying to remember the New Orleans oil spill. It took about 6 years for settlements to come in. And I think the settlement was $12 billion for 260,000 people. And so if you average it out, it's about $46,000 per person in that situation. And there was like hundreds of thousands of aquatic animals like just dead from that. So, I mean, it's not obviously, I would say that's a lot bigger than this, but it gives you an idea that probably there's going to be a lawsuit. It's probably going to take 5 years for these people to get money. A lot of people are probably going to get sick during this time. A lot of businesses are going to go bankrupt. And at first, right now, everyone's going to use this as kind of a political I gotcha moment. And then basically everyone's going to forget about it in probably 2 months. maybe a month.
I don't know. I mean,
Answers from Norfolk
I
Southern
have no idea how long it's going to take for there to be another disaster, because I feel like there's going to be another one after it. But that's my little.
Well, it's just constant derailments. The only way you're going to fix the derailments is to get, more work crews, and more
They need
people
to stop
working
cutting
there.
corners.
And
That's what they
also
need to
better
do.
safety. I mean, there's some you can't. Like, obviously, there's some that it's not the train's fault, which is like, let's say there's a car in the middle of the tracks or something like that. Obviously, it's not their fault that shit happens.
Yeah.
But, certain things can be solved. And I don't think you're going to get into the base of the problem by throwing conspiracy theories when, stating that this is the new world order trying to get everyone tagged like animals in the cattle to find out, and purposely blowing up a train to do that. Full of chemicals over a town to do that. I just don't think that's the way to do it. And I don't think the idea is to just ignore the problem and say, well, it's not that bad. I think the problem is that it's a lot of corporate greed that pushed this. And, that's a big problem. And I don't know the solution, honestly.
No, I don't either. I don't know. The only thing I can say is keep safe.
Yeah.
Always consult your lawyer before you sign anything, and just keep safe.
Well, our infrastructure for the trains suck because it's money motivated. The company last year spent $10 billion. New Fork Southern spent $10 billion on stock buybacks. So they had the money and they were making money, but they chose not to because they probably did a calculations that said to themselves, well, which is cheaper, doing a cleanup for a derailment once in a while, or can we make more money with stock buyback or more money stock buybacks, or we can do something else with the money. And they made that decision. But I don't have the solution. I mean, like, honestly, I don't have trust in either party. I think either party basically will use it as a gotcha moment and just move on. And then they'll just forget about it. I mean, look at 9/11. A lot of the people that went to 9/11 were told that the air quality was safe when those people actually went in there to help and rescue people. And at first, everyone was applauding them and everyone was happy to give them money. But now the Congress is fighting them every fucking year. They fight them and they're like, oh my God, they have to like literally go to a congressional hearing and fight. And I think is it Steve Colbert or whatever?
Somebody from the night show.
Yeah, like the Daily Show.
Daily Show, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying. He goes on there with them and he tries to help them fight so they can get benefits, so they can live. And I feel like it's the same thing that's probably going to happen. Like at first, everyone's going to be a little concerned. And at first, they're going to, the certain parties are going to point to the other one and say it's your fault. And the other party's going to point to the other party and say it's your fault. Corporations probably going to keep quiet and talk to lawyers, and no one's going to really solve the problem that way. Anyway, and I don't have a solution. I can only report about what situation, keep people informed, and try to cut down on the conspiracy theories.
Anderson and a few neighbors filed a lawsuit against the railroad company. His main complaints are potential long-term health implications to him and his family and the well-being of his farm.
I have a married daughter. She's pregnant. She was here actually that night with us. You have to think about things like that and long-term health effects to your kids. I mean, that's your biggest concern always.
Even though all the agencies that are performing testing and trying to make sure that the area is safe, I believe that they're doing everything that they can to do that in a safe, effective, and timely way. However, I still wouldn't let that overrule your five senses and your common sense. So if you taste something in the water or, in food, don't eat it. If you experience unpleasant odors or vapors in your home, maybe go stay with some family for a little while.
Health is top of mind for everyone. And while no one can say for certain if and how this could affect their health long term, business owners are seeing an immediate impact.
This is a farm town. They're talking about the animals, the livestock. There's a lot of people whose livelihood depend on those animals that if they're tainted in any way, they're done.
I have 100 animals or more here. There's a whole list of farmers, dairy farmers, who their cows stopped giving milk and stopped eating for a couple of days. This is literally my lifelong dream, to own a farm. I left home, went into service, got a great job, saved. I married a great person that her dream was live in a house like the Waltons. And so that's what we worked for, and that's what we did. And, we have 7 children we raise here. We grow 80% of our food here. It's all in jeopardy right now. I mean, seriously, you have to face it.
McKim's Honey Vine and Winery has yet to officially open for business. They plan to launch on St. Patrick's Day weekend. They're newly.
That's so terrible that this place, also the guy's farmland's being fucked over. This people with the
Yeah.
wine business wasn't even open yet, and you're gonna find out that they were really close to the train derailment, and I mean, this guy's gonna break down.
Renovated winery sits across the street from the crash site. So that footage you just saw is from the pole that's over that direction, and it's showing the train tracks that are right over here, completely parallel with this road and with the front of this new restaurant.
We've invested everything we had put into this place. And we have private parties booked here, and even weddings, people wanting to get married. And right across the street, you can see everything. You can see where they tore it up, where it all burned. We have pictures from our cameras, and you could just see the plumes of smoke for 4 days, and then they lit it all on fire. And we have a patio area outside here, and who's going to want to sit out there now and look at all this that's happened?
Yeah. Within 2 days, the railroad was repaired, and the first train barreled through downtown before residents were even moved back into their homes.
Can you believe that the 2 days and the train was moving before residents even got back to their homes?
It's horrible. Like it's so, they don't care. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, the town hall, that NTSB, who when I was investigating was very informative. Yeah, we're going to talk about Erin Brockovich. She actually did pretty well. I watched the town hall of that one.
Yeah.
She was very informative of those people. You know, she knows what she's doing.
Hopefully it's helped.
I think it did. That's actually not too surprising. Well, they probably did a cost analysis. Who knows? Who knows? That's some crazy corporate greed. Yeah, that is some crazy corporate greed. Imagine, I don't even think how could you possibly clean all the contamination that quickly? So it definitely pushes that thought process that they did this control explosion so that they get the tracks open as soon as possible. And basically your local government okayed it, probably out of ignorance. They probably had no fucking clue about the situation and mostly relied on advisors and stuff like that. And most advisors probably didn't know about the fucking situation. So that's what's happening. That's why you're seeing a lot of issues, because a lot of people relied on the corporation like New Fork Southern to actually deal with the problem, and they okayed it probably, and this is the result when you don't have people who do proper supervision of a corporation when it comes to a cleanup. And you see it all the time.
Controlled burn was on Monday. So on Tuesday, there were replacement rails allowing trains to run through that area. You cannot dig out and clean up an area if it's covered by railroad tracks and there are trains going over it. So the fact that they replaced the rails, I think, suggests they're much more focused in reopening the railway than in cleaning up this community.
The day they released us to come back, within 3 minutes, the first railroad cars came through. Who thinks that's acceptable?
This poor guy.
I mean,
Now, this is a guy whose whole life has been fucking destroyed, basically. His business is probably going to suffer, if not go belly up, because he's going to be drinking across from there now, drinking wine. His health is might take a turn. He might lose everything because of the situation. That's why I like this this particular kind of documentary that the Daily Wire did, was plus, I guess, because it really does show you the people who are affected.
That's what I want to see more. I want to see less suits and more local.
Yeah.
I want to see the people. I want to know what they think. And we know what they think, but I want to hear their stories. I want to see, because this needs to be shown. Because the guys in the suits, they need to see what they're doing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Biden didn't go. Well, Biden's probably forgot. I'm sorry for the joke.
I mean, both presidents fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I'm not, it's going to be a little political, but I think honestly, wait.
Yeah.
I think honestly, both parties, basically you can blame Trump for the deregulation, but you didn't see Democrats fight him on it. And and Biden came back to office and he didn't reinstate him. So you can blame both parties on this situation. Both parties basically completely failed to actually do their job and regulate. Buttigieg is terrible at his job. We're going to go through that too. The problem is that certain aspects of the government is breaking down and not doing their job because of the corrupt influence of money. and it's affecting not only it's affecting real life, like people's lives. And I don't know what the solution you can do for a system that is breaking down and is stopped serving its purpose, which is to secure people and allow them to have happy futures and protection and stuff like that. I don't know what to do when the whole fucking system seems to be breaking down. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, both of them fucked up, and it's so easy for people to be like, "Well, Biden's not doing anything about this," or
Yeah.
Trump cut corners. Yeah, both of them fucked up. They fucked up. They're a part of the problem too. But the thing is, I think it's too easy to be like, "Why are you concerned on what Biden's doing? Why don't you go see if there's something we can do?"
I think it's just basically people want a sense of control, and I don't know if you can, because you can do anything when you have both parties doing that. But that's just my thought on it.
Some people though, they think it's like easier to be like, "Oh, it's Trump. Oh, it's Biden," and not do the research and be like, "Oh, it's a lot deeper than that."
Yeah, I think the problem is the system, and I don't know how to solve a problem that deep. If I did, I'd probably run for office. And
no, you wouldn't.
That was a joke. But anyway,
I get upset when my kids bring home a C on a report card. I get mad when I drop eggs in the kitchen. You know, where does this put me? I'm out of my mind.
Corporations exist for profit for the shareholders, and there's nothing wrong with that, but there is moral responsibility, professional behaviors. Professional behavior doesn't ignore risk. They understand, you would think, the financial implications of hurting people, but they didn't seem to respond effectively.
This is what criminals do. They make a mistake and then they go hide in their office and they try to figure out, weasel their way out of it. How can we not pay them? How can we pay this person to pay them off? We see it all the time. It's corruption. Call it whatever you want. I'm not totally like a conspiracy-minded person, but and I also know how real people work. We may just be a little flyover place or a place you drive by and don't stop, but the railroad doesn't do anything for us. It causes noise pollution for us. It causes traffic problems. Now we have big problems.
Now it's business as usual for Norfolk Southern, but residents are still uncertain of East Palestine's future.
I've lived here for 36 years and in this house specifically for 15 years. Me and my husband bought it when we were expecting our oldest. You know, this is all of our home and the kids love it here. They're very active and involved in stuff, and it is heartbreaking to think about leaving, but I'm also terrified to stay. I hope that's a possibility, but not sure. So
we spoke with a lot of local business owners too. We're concerned about, is my town going to be permanently toxic? Is anyone ever going to come back and want to eat at my restaurant? Do you have any long-term projections of what you think the future of the town will hold in terms of its toxicity and other potential ramifications?
I mean, if you think of other hazardous materials incidents that have happened across the U.S., many of those areas have bounced back to normal. So I don't think that just because there was a single exposure here means that the town is completely doomed. But I do agree that it's the response and the dissemination of information to the individuals who live there that will really help dictate how the community itself responds to the event.
No fault to our leaders. I think they're doing the best they can. This is a lot bigger than our small town, and I think they need help.
The government needs to be here. Like, where's Joe Biden?
I mean, where's the environmentalists? Where's the people that? Why aren't they storming?
By the way, since we're at that point, where are the environmentalists? Well, EPA temporary halts contaminated waste removal from Ohio train derailment. This happened yesterday. The Environmental Protection Agency has ordered temporary pause on the removal of the shipment of the contaminated waste from East Palestine, Ohio train derailment site, AP reports. Why does it matter? East Palestine residents have been reporting diagnosis of chemical bronchitis and other health conditions which attribute to the February 3rd crash. The freight train was carrying hazardous materials, including the carcinogenic gas vinyl chloride, forcing Norfolk Southern Railroad to release burn the contents of several cars. Details: the EPA on Saturday ordered Norfolk Southern to halt waste shipments from the site and said the removal would resume very soon, per AP. Wastewater and soil so far have been transported to Texas and Michigan, where officials have said they were not given an adequate heads up about the disposal of the toxic materials. The Ohio governor's office said that 20 truckloads or approximately 280 tons carrying hazardous solid waste, were disposed of. To dispose of the waste at Michigan Hazardous Waste Treatment and Disposal Facility, but that 5 trucks returned to East Palestine. Texas Hazardous Waste Treatment and Disposal Facility would not accept any more liquid waste per AP. By numbers, about 102,000 gallons of liquid waste and 45 cubic yards of solid waste remain in storage on site in East Palestine, Governor Mike DeWine office said per AP. Additional solid and liquid waste are being generated at cleanup progresses. What they're saying, EPA will ensure that all waste is disposed of in a safe and lawful manner, EPA certified facilities, to prevent further release of hazardous substances to impact communities. Region 5 Administrator Deborah Shear said. The EPA said EPA did not immediately respond to XEO's request for comment. The big picture, the EPA and CDC are on the ground in East Palestine this weekend, conducting door-to-door outreach to support impacted residents. The toxic train crash has drawn ire and demands for accountability from both sides of the aisle, with multiple House committees now gearing up for aggressive hearings on the Biden administration response to the toxic train derailment, which I will agree that it was quite terrible, their response. There is no doubt about it. Now, what did Frank Buttigieg? Now, Buttigieg goes down there. Did not go too well. This is from Breaking Points. Let me see.
And to talk more,
I actually like Breaking Points. It's a good little news thing. Let me put that. I watch them a lot, actually. I usually watch a couple of videos a day. Honestly, you will still use so many chemicals that have been banned in countries like the UK as long as something says fragrance. It's literally have anything in it. Yeah, pretty much. But I don't think it was for fragrances. It's used for PVC. It's hard plastic resin used to make a variety of plastic products, including pipes, wires, and cables, coatings, packaging materials. I shouldn't have had a brain fart in the beginning, but it happens. That's what that stuff is. Vinyl chloride is used for. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of essential stuff it's used for. So, but the problem is that there was regulations that was put by Obama to make it more regulated to transport. Then obviously it got reduced. It got removed because of costs, basically, for the company that they were claiming, the lobbyists, and this is the result. Oh yeah, no, I know. I just was saying. Okay. No. Bottom line, it will become a land grab. Check and see what minerals lie beneath the surface. Not sure about that. Maybe they'll get lucky and they'll find oil. Who knows? I was trying to say we won. But
Where are the movie stars that quote unquote care for everything else? I don't know, but I don't know why people are expecting these things. I'm going to ask you, what are you doing?
Yeah, but
that's what we have to ask ourselves. We have to ask ourselves, what can we do?
Yeah, but I don't really care about the movie stars. Movie stars usually just go for trending shit. I don't
Most
really.
people don't care about that to begin with, so you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get
Rosie
my
O'Donnell said something.
Yeah, and I don't give two shits about what Rosie O'Donnell said.
Exactly. Hey, Johnson.
Yeah.
Hey, Steph.
Hi, Johnson.
Or about the politics. Our President Biden, he was asked, go ahead and put this up on the screen, about whether or not he plans to visit Ohio.
Oh my God, that's such a terrible picture.
They do it on purpose. They did it with Trump too. I mean,
oh my God.
I mean, nobody's flattering when you take a yeah.
His eyes are closed. That's not a good response picture, I have to say, but yeah.
He says, no, we're doing all we can. That is a lie. They are not doing all they can. I mean, that's just demonstrably false. One thing they could be doing is giving these people Medicare for life, as they did in Libby, Montana. There's a provision in Obamacare that would allow them to do exactly that.
That's actually a good point. Why don't they give these people some sort of medical treatment for life so that, and then just basically build a company afterwards? Be like, wait for the settlement, like just like a Medicare lien. Like in lawsuits, you can have like, let's say a person's on Medicare or Medicaid. There's and you go for treatment when you get into an accident. Let's say, and there's a settlement, there's usually a lien. So why don't they just give these people some free insurance now for treatment and checkups now? and then just basically put the lien on the fucking company when the lawsuit, because obviously they're going to lose this fucking lawsuit. They're going to do a settlement because there's no way they're going to lose this lawsuit. Honestly, I mean,
they fucked up.
They really fucked up. I mean, it's like, it's very clear that they fucked up. The liability is completely lost on this point. Like the now it's just damages, how much money they have to pay. And I don't know why they don't do that, but that's just my opinion.
We're not talking about doing that whatsoever. Even if
What'd you say?
No, I was responding to a comment first. Hey, Steph. Just seeing if there's anybody. Hey, Steph. Ro, then that's good. But I don't wait for other people to do things. That's the thing. See what you can do, as you know, before you wait. I don't give a shit what Katy Perry has to say or Beyonce.
Yeah, I mean, usually, let me give you a little heads up. Most celebrities are pretty fucking dumb. And they say pretty dumb shit. And the only thing they usually do is they highlight, they give publicity, basically. I don't really, I'm just saying, like, there's some celebrities that have said some pretty dumb shit. Like,
I mean, it's easy to be like, well, what's our president doing? The celebrity. Well, stop that.
I mean, it would be good to get the word out, but I think it would be more important if they wrote it like $1 million check or
there's
got
a
some
lot
more
of big
charities.
YouTubers that are doing it. There's a lot of big YouTubers, but I know most people in different age brackets are like, you don't know them. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think it would be good to get some sort of charity. If they could get awareness for a charity so these people can get money up front, that'd be great. But I mean, I think it has to be directed towards some sort of fundraiser for these people to get money. So, because they can't wait 6 years and then pay out of pocket to buy drinking water for 6 years or move out of their place. They're going to need money now, and it would be great if the government would give them money and just put a lien on the fucking company and say, listen, you fucked up. We have to give these people money up front. We can't wait. We can't have these people sit in a toxic waste dump for 6 years. We're going to give them money now, and then we're going to charge you after this lawsuit because you're obviously going to fucking lose.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would be smart, but unfortunately, they don't do that.
Well, let's be real, too. Celebrities kind of pick and choose what they want. We all do. That's the thing. There's different causes people stand up for, but just because they're not standing up for your cause, why would you even care? Like, don't care about that. Just do what you're doing, and it seems like, Ro, you're doing the right thing. So who cares what, I don't know, Kanye West is fucking doing? You do your thing, and that is 100 times better than anything that Kim Kardashian could do.
Do you know the charity, by the way, Dunslope? It says cuties up by me, not too far away, are doing huge water donations to take down. Not sure what else. I see the way from it. Considering, yeah, that's what we need, like charities.
If there is a good charity that y'all know about, please give it to us, and we will definitely share it. I would rather any type of money to go into help these people.
Was it a private company? What is a private company? I'm not sure what your question is. I'm sorry. Seasons. I think the town gave them a $1,000 check once, and then I know they gave out money.
That's not enough.
That's not enough for people who are literally. I'm just fucking with people when I say that. No, who might have to kind of get up and start a new life somewhere else. I would love to know more charities. Unfortunately, I don't know. I've been looking, and it's tough.
But I have noticed that a lot of celebrities, like, still on the subject, a lot of celebrities haven't spoken out since the Balenciaga thing. So I don't know, but waiting on them. I mean, our voices can be just as big as theirs. We just got to use them. Seriously, we do.
Press X to down on that one, but that's just my opinion.
Well, that's your opinion.
You have your opinion. I have my opinion.
But
anyway.
As researchers are saying, hey, this could have long-term effects, and these are known carcinogens. So down the road, 10 years from now, when suddenly you've got a cancer cluster in this area, and everyone's denying, it has nothing to do with this, it has nothing to do with this, the very least is you could have these people make sure that they have decent healthcare and are able to get the treatment that they deserve. You also have Pete continuing to cover himself in glory. He did ultimately, much belatedly.
I like this guy shaking this. This guy, it's like, yeah, we can all agree Pete Buttigieg is a he's terrible at his fucking job.
Decide to actually go to Ohio
I'm actually glad he did not become president. Like like, I don't know. I think he'd probably be worse than Biden, and I don't know how that's possible.
I don't know. I just don't trust the government, period. What I trust is what goes on in my house, my family, my friends, and that's it.
Under great pressure from Republicans, but also from some Democrats. Let's take a listen to a little bit of what he had to say.
In retrospect, should you have come a little sooner? So again, in terms of the timing of the visit, I'm trying to strike the right balance, allowing NTSB to play its role, but making sure we're here in that show of support. But also, Norfolk Southern and the other freight rail companies need to stop fighting us every time we try to do a regulation in order to hold them accountable and their other railroad companies accountable for their safety record. And what we've seen is industry goes to Washington and they get their way. They got their way on the ECP rule. They got their way on a Christmas tree of regulatory changes that the last administration made on its way out the door in December of 2020.
Guess what, dude? You are in charge. You can tell them no when they come to Washington. I mean, the learned helplessness, the feigned helplessness of Biden and Pete, not just on this issue, but on so many issues. I mean, we see it with the airlines too. I'm going to send a letter. Dude, you have power. You are running this agency. If you wanted to change and roll back those Trump regulations, if they were so bad, you all are in charge now. You could do that, but you didn't, and you still aren't. You sent another strongly worded letter to Norfolk Southern. Congratulations. Way to go.
With Biden too, I'm just mystified as to why he won't go. I think it must be because he doesn't want to validate the Trump criticism.
I think
he's like, I'm willing to go to Kyiv. He should come back from Ukraine. He should come visit Ohio. So now he's the one who's actually playing and making this political because he doesn't want to appear weak to the fact that he was literally abroad doling out billions of dollars to Ukraine whenever somebody at home might have needed him. And he says, we're doing everything that we can. With Pete too, I mean, what a horrific and massive failure. I've come around to the fact that I think Pete is just fundamentally lazy. Like when you put together his entire tenure of office, his fake paternity leave for literally months, much longer than actual working mothers get who literally suffer the trauma of giving birth. You have that. Number two is the FAA nightmare, the collapse of the airline industry under his watch, eventually righting itself with no real help from the administration. The Southwest Airlines debacle, of which he did absolutely nothing. And now you have East Palestine, of which he's last. The former president of the United States, who literally lives in Mar-a-Lago, is able to get there before he is. And it's a joke. And then at the entire time, he's lashing out at the media. Also, funnily enough, Crystal, he's been planting all these stories saying Buttigieg has been taking a lot of bullets for Biden on East Palestine.
Oh,
really? Because I'm pretty sure you're taking bullets for not doing your job and for not having the immediacy that a secretary is supposed to have in a situation. I saw a hilarious reader comment which just said, do you know how bad of a secretary of transportation you have to be for people to know the secretary of transportation? Nobody knows.
Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, watch the rest of this. This is actually I like this channel because it's just very informative. What do you think of that, Tony?
I like this channel too. I don't watch a lot about their shows, but I do like it.
Yeah, I mean, like the guy is absolutely fucking lazy. He doesn't have the power to do anything they are saying. I think what they're saying is not him personally, but they're probably talking about Biden. They're talking about the Senate, Congress. They have power to actually overturn a lot of this regulation, and they choose not to. Honestly, I mean, I think they could have easily overturned a lot of these things, but I think most likely they just didn't. Because the truth of the matter is that most likely it's easier to just blame the other side for, and then they blame the other side.
That's what it's going to be. It's going to be a game of Pong. That's all it's going to be. And while people are wasting time playing Pong, I like to see,
Yeah,
help.
I mean, that's why I don't really, I'm not really caring about either party because I think what their tactics for either party is one side blames the other side blames the other, and then they just basically get, lobbyists to give them money. And while they're doing that and wasting their time, people are going to die from cancer in this location. And I don't really, I'd rather them fix the problem, actually regulate this industry. And make sure that these people are not only compensated but have the best treatment in the United States so that they don't, die a premature death or at least have the ability to survive. But, unfortunately, finger pointing is not going to solve jack shit. If it did, then, we wouldn't be in this situation, would we?
No.
But yeah, and also conspiracy theories like claiming that the New World Order is planning on blowing up this town so that they can get everyone cheap $20 bracelets with Q codes on it is not going to solve the issue either. So that's my thing with that. I don't like the conspiracy theories. I think conspiracy theories hurt people. I think people in this town need actual information and they need to get the facts because their family, their livelihoods, everything is down the road, and they don't need some crazy person claiming that some sort of new world order is doing that.
The government should be taking care. This is an issue. The government should be taking this. That's what I don't understand is why aren't they doing more for them?
Well, we pointed out it's easier to finger point and also to basically let just kind of keep quiet until it moves away. Recently, Aaron Brockovich went down there. This is Aaron Brockovich. A lot of people did not know the real Aaron Brockovich looked like based on the movie. It was funny because I was about to start the stream. I'm listening to Tony in the background. He's watching the movie.
Yeah, I was watching it. I had to pause it.
He's watching the Aaron Brockovich movie. He's like, I'm doing research. It's like, okay.
No, because I wanted to see how fierce she was, and I hope she helps them. Obviously, I don't know if she has a license in Ohio to practice, but she can help and give legal advice. And, I wanted to know her style. And I know movies exaggerate, obviously, but I just wanted to see, because I don't know much about her other than she did this, she gave this town that was affected by almost the exact same thing,
we are within
justice.
50 miles. Okay, Pray for Rock Run says, Steph, we are within 50 miles evacuation within a mile. We've all just been having sinus issues and feeling like poo. Yeah, I'm sorry for that, Pray for Rock and Roll. I didn't know you lived that close. But yeah, it's not good. And I think,
just please keep safe, please.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that finger pointing stops, people get to the root of the problem and stop with the conspiracy theories and get these people fucking money and clean this area up. I mean, like, really, at this point, it's like, as an adult, shit happens, fuck ups happen, and you just solve the problem. Like, for instance, let's say, like, you have a kid that, like, drops, lights your pan on fire while cooking. Like, let's say they have grease fire. Do you sit there and point fingers at each other who started the grease fire, or you put out the fucking fire and then you do the cleanup and then you place the blame? That's what I feel like should be done. I don't think it's a good idea to be like Biden, Trump. I think while people are going to get sick and die, you're pointing fingers. I think what's going to have to happen is get these people medical treatment, get this place cleaned. Well, get this place cleaned up, get these people medical treatment, and then go after and then the government should be going after this company for the money instead of having these people wait for fucking 6 years in legal lawsuits, hell or more.
And Voodoo, from my understanding, the mayor there did not declare this incident a disaster. So there was like fine print when it came to FEMA and stuff. They have to declare it as a disaster for them to do anything. And that's the issue. He hasn't declared it as a disaster.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm just reading. Trace says, I'm a bit behind trying to catch up. I'm glad you put this out here, Tim. And because I thought maybe it was just me, but I haven't been able to watch Shogun for a couple of weeks. Yeah, I don't know why he's doubling down. Like, this is a guy I really do respect still. And,
I like him.
And I'm a fan. I'm sub to the guy's channel.
Same.
And I like the guy. And I loved when he was calling up Ryan Upchurch on his conspiracies. I didn't like the whole Jared calling, like, him saying certain words I do not agree with. I don't think he, cousin fucker was a good idea to put on your tag about a person who's getting essayed by Jared. I was like, what the fuck is that? But I mean, I still was sub to him. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not going to watch those videos because I feel like I don't like that language when people are victims. When that woman's a victim of Jared, allegedly. But like, I don't like the conspiracies, and I don't like his clickbait. I mean, like, I think it's a conspiracy, and I think he needs to stop with that. He has a huge platform, and he can inform people, a lot of people, on good information, and I'm really glad that he's covering it. But just stick to the information, man. There's plenty of corporate bullshit out there. You don't need the conspiracy theory. It's corporate greed, cover-ups. That's the truth. I mean, there's no conspiracy on that. It's corporate greed and cover-ups by the corporation just to save their asses. That's a big enough story as it is.
Aye.
But that's just my thing. I just don't agree with the conspiracies, and I'm going to call it out. And if people disagree with me, fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a tomato, because you can throw tomatoes at me. And and people might say I'm on my high horse about it, but the truth of the matter is that I just think it should be called out. You can't call out conspiracies and yell at Ryan Upchurch for doing conspiracies and then read articles and pushing the New World Order conspiracy yourself. It doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. You can't do that. Now, does that happen to me sometimes where I kind of get like, I think like the one point I kind of kicked myself for was last week where I did a video about that news reporter being arrested. And I was really thinking that this is something really wrong. And I felt like I was bordering on the conspiracy thing. And luckily someone came to my chat who was in the area that said like there was people that were resting by the bleachers. Well, and that was our last video.
Yeah,
and they talked about that. And there was more than just the simple, they wanted to quiet this guy down. I think it's more than just simply one side. I'm basically saying that every story has multiple sides to it, and you can't just jump to the conspiracy train.
You got to look at more than one video.
Yeah, you have to look at more than one side to get the truth, and it's not as simple as, one side.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned so far. And I still learn,
He's a good guy, though. I will say this. He's a good guy. Not all, we make mistakes. Maybe this was his one mistake. You know what I mean? Like, we're not saying don't watch him. We're just saying, hey, man, we know your content. You can do better.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Tim likes tomatoes. He does it so it doesn't phase him. Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm also vegan, so that's probably more food for me. But anyway.
To talk more about the situation unfolding there in East Palestine. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So your initial thoughts as you've watched all this play out over the last several weeks?
Oh my gosh. I can tell you from my perspective, working on these issues for 30 years, it's total frustration. I can't even begin to understand how frustrated and angry and upset the community must be. I've never seen anything quite like this. There's been such a slowed response. I mean, the train derailment happened, February 3rd? Norfolk took over at that point, and any and all information that was coming out and what was going on, they hemmed and hawed for days. They dug a big hole, unwind. They bled out all the liquid chemicals into that hole. Then they lit it on fire, which is very concerning. You just now really set it up to contaminate an entire aquifer for decades. And then you light a volatile compound like vinyl chloride on fire that creates dioxins, and it just rains out on the community. And there's a window where nobody seems to know anything or talking about it. No agencies in particular are showing up. Where is the federal EPA? It was being handled very unusually. And the people, which is my biggest concern, were in total frustration in a very conflicted message. Evacuate, it's safe to come back, shouldn't drink the water, you can drink the water, everything's fine, there's no problem. And it's like these people lived and experienced this moment, and they're still suffering from it, they're still sick from it, and they're terrified for their future. And nobody can seem to really give them an honest answer about what happened, what's going to happen to them, and what to expect.
And you're very well known. There's no question there. So what made you specifically want to step into this situation here?
It's never about me deciding to step in. When these situations have, the community contacts me. I was getting emails as early as 4:50 a.m. on the 4th from the community. There's been a train derailment. It's on fire. There's chemicals in it. What's happening? What should we do? And it just built and escalated from there till, the community really said, please, we would like your advice. We would like you to come in. What should we do? So that's the first and foremost reason, always why I respond, is these people are frightened, uncertain what's going to happen. There's been chemicals involved, train derailment. And so that is my first response, is for them. Oftentimes that requires us coming out and having a town hall meeting. There is so much information to be giving these people, not only about what happened. And we have kind of a teaching moment here, if you will, because agencies have been handling over and over and over again these environmental disasters kind of in the same way. All is clear. Everybody go home, gets forgotten about it. But, 5-10 years in the future, we have a huge contamination. Chemicals that are associated with cancers. The community is sick. We have a moment here now, moving forward, how much information these people need. This is going to be groundwater monitoring for decades. This will be soil.
Yeah, and I agree with that, because I remember our last stream, like there were people who wanted answers from like these guys working with the water, like pumping out the water and pumping in the water. And when they walked up to these guys, it says, "What are you doing?" It says, "Call up this number." And whoever was calling up this number was just like a message. So it's a lack of information. And I kind of don't understand, and maybe it's just me, I'm being ignorant, maybe, but why is it that, you allow a company so much freedom to just basically do all this stuff to make a control? I know they got permission from Dwayne to do the controlled explosion. But it seems like at that point, when the company comes up to you and says, "Hey, we got to do this controlled explosion of this deadly chemical," that you'd probably give a call to the EPA to be in the area and to have all the federal agencies come in, because at that point, you're literally about to explode World War I chemicals into a small town of 4,700 people. But it seems like they give like these companies so much leeway in these natural disasters. That just seems odd. I mean, do you agree, Tony? Or
No, I do. And also, Rose said they're refusing to give the results of the testing. Why test if the results are so sad? These people can't afford independent test. Well, in the last show, that's what I said. I
Yeah.
hope that, scientists, local ones, or even the ones anywhere, a pro bono type deal, and go there and help out and test some homes.
I think the issue is that you have. I don't think it's a good idea to have these people have to go through this company to get, help. At this point, I feel like this company is going to do everything they can to limit the amount of liability this company has, the amount of money they have to pay out, and I don't think it's a good idea. I think the government really needs to take a proactive proactively go into the situation.
Do you know why the company doesn't care? Because the company doesn't live there. The CEO doesn't live there.
Yeah, and the company basically has it. They made sure the train was running before they cleaned up. That gives you an idea of their priorities. Unfortunately, people are they consider you the dollars and cents, and unfortunately, the agencies that are supposed to go there and protect you are getting their money from these corporations, and then they're probably told a story about how much money this rail makes and the chemicals they transport are important for industrial services and stuff like that. And unfortunately, that's probably what happens behind closed door. While they're on the podium, they say they care about you and everything, but behind this in back rooms and whatnot, they're basically discussing the dollars and cents of having that train run, and everything's about money at that point. And
they don't care. Let's be real. Let's just bluntly say it. They don't care.
Yeah.
And it's sad because these are real people with real families that have businesses there, that have farmland there. These are real people. And I don't think people are, I know we're grasping it. I know there's a lot of people grasping it, but the suits aren't grasping it.
Yeah, I just think what we can do, like YouTube and stuff like that, is just get the right information out there, report on this story, give the people, because what people say on YouTube is important. It's very important because it allows people in the town to get information, people outside the town. And we need to make sure the information we are spreading is true and factual, because people are relying on this. They're not getting the information from the corporation, and they're not really getting the information from the government. So they go to YouTube scared and confused and ignorant about all these situations. And when you're telling them, we got to give them the right information. We got to give them the right stuff. And I think that's the least we can do. And, sometimes I fail at that. I try not to, but I think people need to try.
We always correct ourselves. Anytime that we have ever said anything and we were mistaken, we always correct ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You have to put out the information and, admit that you're wrong, carry on, correct it, and that's it. That's all you got to do.
Vapor intrusion monitoring for decades. It should be the monitoring of the public health and the welfare and their future. So it's not like this is one and done. What's happened to their homes, their property values? Can they grow their food? And so we've talked about it over the past few days. I don't even like to make a correlation here, but 9/11, when all those towers came down, all those chemicals that spilled out, everybody knew, oh my gosh, what have we inhaled? What are we breathing? What's our future? But it was supposedly safe. And here we are today dealing with all these problems. This can be prevented. And that's what I would like us to start focusing on. We're going to have to help build back and repair this community and keep them in close watch, because nobody, and it's a misinformation if anyone tells you it's safe today and it will be fine tomorrow. That's just not how these situations work out. What's safe today is probably going to be contaminated tomorrow. And this isn't a one fix. This is going to be years and decades in the making of following up, monitoring, and stopping the contamination they've caused. How far it will go still needs to be found out. And what, most importantly, we can do for these people and how they will be monitored in the future.
And I'm not sure if you can see this on your screen, but the video that's been circulating showing the governor there taking a sip of the water in East Palestine. What were your thoughts when you saw that?
Very, very frustrating. And it's kind of what we've been talking about here today. I mean, it's a moment. These these environmental disasters aren't a moment. They're a big story and one that will continue to march on. So you have to understand a lot about water. So this is municipal water, which is one system. Then you have people on private well waters that are oftentimes, they are unregulated. They're monitored by the household. They will have to do testing. But that day, the water could have been safe. But that doesn't mean that will be the conditions tomorrow. So we have a big amount of contaminants that is hitting the aquifer now, and it will begin its movements. So I don't want to sit here and say they're lying. I don't have a lot of faith or trust in what I just.
Let me see. Exactly, will come down to only local news putting anything out. That will not put much pressure on corporate. Yeah. Yeah, that definitely was not from the private well. And she's right. They make it into a moment, like a political moment. It's like, no, it's not a political moment. It's about people's lives. Like, you know, you getting your fucking 15 minutes in front of a camera drinking some water. You know, I mean, like when that guy did that, I was thinking to myself, Barack Obama with his fucking filtered water when he was in Flint, Michigan. Like, I was thinking exactly that. I was like, this is so fucked up, you know?
I mean, I guess I'm on the path of, this is how I'm thinking of it, is it happened. Yes, the people should be held accountable for why it happened and how it got this bad. But right now, number one on my list is helping the people that are in that area and helping the environment in that area so it's a safe living environment. And then later I'm going to blame people. I rather people be safe before I sit here and start blaming people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like the adult thing to do. Like, just like I explained, there's a fire in the kitchen. There's a grease fire. You don't waste your time blaming each other. You put out the fire, you clean up the mess, and then you blame people, and then you start giving compensation. That's what needs to be done.
Saw, but it's a misrepresentation because groundwater moves, these chemicals move. You could have varying levels from one day to the next to a non-detect 2 parts per billion the next morning. So in that moment, maybe it was safe, but I think that's bringing people or lulling people back possibly under a false pretense, knowing that that condition could change tomorrow.
Tell me how this town hall is going to work. I believe it's on Friday. What does it consist of?
So it will consist of, again, a lot of information for them. This community will become their own citizen science, if you will. They are the ears and the eyes of what happened to them. We'll want to hear from them, but we want to bring in the doctors, toxicologists, people who understand chemicals, people who understand fate and transport, where this water will go, how long this problem could be. A lot of them definitely want to know their legal rights. Let's be honest here at this point. I don't think, anybody is going to run out to buy a home there. They worry about their property values. They worry about what's happened to their animals. So we're going to have everybody there that can answer those questions as honestly as possible. And sometimes that means saying, I'm not certain. And this is what I've learned about communities. And it's a really important message, if you will. Sometimes the truth of these situations is very scary. The future of the situation for them is very scary, but they need to know exactly that, whether they want to hear it or they don't want to hear it, because if you don't let them know what's coming, they can't plan, they won't be prepared, they can't protect their public health and welfare. And so that is precisely at our town hall. They're going to get all that information. They'll learn about their legal rights. We're going to let them know about these chemicals, what can happen with these chemicals. One chemical can turn into another, what testing should be done for, what they can do about it, and how they can protect themselves in the position they're in and how we move forward. And that's something that's really important. And they will process that. Oftentimes they're like, thank God, now I know something. Now I can plan and prepare. But what they never deal with is a mistruth, or if they feel they're being lied to, they already don't trust the situation. So they'll get a lot of information on Friday at the town hall about all of it.
Good.
And my last question for you here is, what needs to be done? What should be done at this point?
Well, I mean, there's obviously remediation. I mean, there's so much that
Yeah, there was a town hall. We can't watch it because it's an hour and 20 minutes. But here's the town hall meeting.
The volume is sketchy on the town hall meeting, but put closed captions on.
Yeah, it's an hour and 20. What is it? Hour and 20? No, hour and 10 minutes. It's an hour and 10 minutes. It's worth a watch. It's like a little bit. It does. There's no. It's just they're setting up so you can skip a little bit in the beginning. But they basically went through the information of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Animals, children, soil, water, air. Yeah, that's what I said. I want to watch that. Yeah, so that's the town hall. You can watch it.
they're going to have to be down on the ground. You know, there's a lot of information. How much and how many gallons of chemicals were put into that unlined hole? What is the water table? What is the location of the municipality wellheads? What's going to happen downstream? Are they going to start looking for soil vapor intrusion? There's a very high water table here. These chemicals will float on the top of the water as they go under the house. They can volatilize into the home. There's so much remedial action that they need to put into play. And as I said, this isn't a one-stop fix. This is going to be a long haul. I don't know if you're familiar with the train accident that happened up in Leroy, New York, decades ago. And about 8-9 years ago, we were out there involved because community members were sick, and we were still finding large amounts of contamination from that train derailment decades later in the water, in the soil, and in people's wells. So they need to mobilize quickly and be prepared to be here for the long haul. And I really be honest with people. There's a lot of chemicals yet that are unknown or haven't been tested for. Changes could happen. I can say today, they can say, maybe today we feel comfortable with you being here, but that could change tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron Brockovich, thank you so much for taking the time.
Now we're going to show you the TikTok. I think Tony told me this one. You know the TikTok with the sink, right? Is that the one you were talking?
Yeah, the one in the sink. She was 200 miles away.
200 miles away, huh?
This is 200. I think this is the one where the woman is 200 miles away. She has I'm thinking well water, and this is what it looks like.
Yeah. So we're going to play it. This is a TikTok. Now, I'm not sure, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going with it, but, you know, grain of salt with anything from TikTok, grain of salt, just a heads up. But if this is true, this is not good. Now look at the water when she's pouring it, and you notice like a little bit of coloring, like it looks like oil a little bit.
Oh, that one says 14 miles away.
Oh, 14 miles.
Yes.
14 miles away. I'd like to see him drink the water.
No, there was another video. I think it's in your thing for 200 miles away.
I don't think you sent me that one, but you can send it to me again. And I'll play it.
All right, 1 second.
No problem.
It didn't show an icon. That's why I just. Yeah.
I want to hear the resonance go off. Yeah, the link is basically, it's just like basically like a demonstration of their rights and discussion. They don't really talk to him. It's mostly like a presentation.
They were really civil. They were civil in it. Obviously, people are angry. They have a right to be.
All right, let me see. Now, like I said, grain of salt with any of these TikTok videos.
Yeah.
Grain of salt, you know what I mean?
I don't know what this is. I am roughly.
It says, I am 200 miles west. Sorry, misspoke. This was a live from the next morning. I could not get right away. This froze and changed to tan sand color. The blue is still here, but less. This is what they let through.
200 miles east of the East Palestine. And all the waterways run this way. I've done a lot of research on it. But it's been 5 days since the accident. And according to how the water travels here in Ohio and the data online on the government websites, it'd be about this time it'd be hitting here if it was in the waterway. So that's why I came out yesterday, found this, and decided to come back and get a sample this morning. Because by the time I thought to get a sample, I didn't have anything on me. I didn't expect to find all this. It was late and I couldn't walk out here in the middle of the night. So that's what we were doing. We got a sample of it. We're going to get it tested. I've already contacted the county. Have not heard anything.
So we don't know what this is.
Like I said, I've been out here I've been in this area my whole life. this property more than half a decade, and I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty sure she'll do an update video on what it is, because it could be just normal, something just happened, or it could be because of what happened, you know, in Ohio. We don't know.
Yeah, we really don't. We really, really don't.
It's insane, though.
They opened a clinic that did not do testing vitals. No doctors there, just told people to see their doctor. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I say take these with a grain of salt. This is what people have on TikTok. I would say it would have been nice if she would have said what town she was in. Let me see. It says here. Yeah, it
A
would be
lot
really
of hashtags.
Yeah, a lot of hashtags. So, grain of salt. This is what Tony saw. But you got a lot of people.
Yeah, at least she said, hey, we don't know what this is. This does look unusual to us. You know, we've lived here for X amount of time. But she is getting it tested. So I'm going to keep an eye on that one and see.
It's related. She said she never seen it. Yeah, but whenever I say like grain of salt, it's because with TikTok, you never know.
You never know. You never know.
Like there are people there that just make up shit, and you got to be careful with that. So I'm like, it could be true. I definitely think the first lady with the 14 miles away, that one is definitely true. I feel like.
Oh yeah, the 14 miles away one. Yeah.
This one I'm not sure because I don't know what the hell that is.
Now I'm reading the hashtags. Like, see, you guys got to watch out too. Like reading the hashtags, it says grow my account, follow back. See, when you put hashtags like that, and you're talking about a disaster like this, now I'm gonna go, this is sketchy. I didn't see that hashtag. I didn't see the
Tony, you're
ones.
spreading misinformation. All right.
Oh no, I did.
We gotta ban
not.
Tony. We gotta ban Tony. We're gonna.
They're gonna make millions of videos on me. It's gonna be hilarious.
We're gonna do a Tony exposed, spreading misinformation. Tony. Just joking. I'm messing with you.
No, I know. No, but again, she did say in the video, I don't know what the fuck this is, but we're going to get it tested. And I think that's what people should do. If you have well water and you're within the radius, get it tested. And I understand it's going to be hard. I don't know how much it is to do. How much is it for a citizen to get an independent scientist or a scientist that's not tied to the country to test the water?
You mean a water, like a testing facility? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's probably the issue is that cost, but also it's like, what are you going to do? If let's say it's positive, what are you going to do after that? You got to move. Well, that's how it is.
Yeah. See all those hashtags. See, when I saw it on my phone. I didn't see all those hashtags.
It's called hashtag.
Do people
stuffing.
really do that?
Yeah, it's actually against the rules in YouTube. It's called hashtags. It's stuffing.
I only do that when I play video games, and I have like 4 hashtags. I've never done that for our live streams. I didn't know that was a thing.
You would have to test every week for 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Thank you for that info. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that video. Yeah.
It's good to know. Yeah.
But every media outlet, like social media outlet, is blowing up with things.
Yeah.
I mean, everything you gotta take is with a grain of salt. BC, I saw the first. How many about the area of the state up to 80 to 90 miles? Oh, yeah. Wow.
Now, I don't know. I mean, I think this is going to be a situation that's going to develop for years. I don't know. I wish there was charities around. If people know a charity, please let me know. I tried looking.
Definitely.
I wish the government would change where they handle these disasters a little differently. It's not like this is the first type of environmental disaster. I wish the government take more proactive role to figure it out, to just go in there immediately, to supervise, to make sure people are compensated, to not tell people to come back to a toxic waste, like a toxic environment. But yeah, I think we're pretty much done. I just wanted to play one video, and this has to do with the conspiracies, but kind of true. It's just the truth. I was like, I think This was like 9 months ago, and I want people to watch it because I think it was. I'm only going to play a little bit of it, but you guys should watch the whole thing. And it's like this guy now does ASMRs now, unfortunately, but like this video is great. And I don't know if other people seen this video, but here, like I'm going to put it in the chat, and like people should watch this video, by the way, because I think this really goes to conspiracies and true crime and also conspiracies in general. So a little bit of it, and then we're probably going to end it here. But I think you people should watch it. I think Burnt Toast liked this video, but this is the first time I think.
I like Burnt Toast.
Yeah, nice lady.
Very
a lot of people watch this, so this is that channel. So
Sorry that your baby's dead. I'm sorry that you don't have a soul. No soul. No, this.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce myself.
oh, let me slow it down a bit. Sorry, doesn't make sense if it's not. Let me just play a little bit. There.
No soul. No, this.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce myself. I am the White Rabbit. I have been in your community some time and watched you all. I quickly found myself caught up within the echelons of conspiracy and misdirection. Wanting to find out what happens when the line between truth and lies is so distorted that no one knows what is real anymore. When the viewers no longer care about what is real, but only what side of the narrative they're on. An amorphous blob that soaks up any and every conspiracy, lie and omission, in a mass scale connecting of the dots exercise. Baseless beliefs have become more popular, promising orderly answers to those experiencing confusion, isolation, and distrust in an ever-increasingly upside-down world.
Don?
Searching for answers in times of great
Yes, that was Doug Hutton, by the way.
confusion and grief can send people down dark rabbit holes.
Listening, and I know you probably are, and if you're not listening now, you're probably listening later.
Within ambiguous and terrible events, unfounded theories increase perceptions of control by providing a channel for anger or fear.
I'm going to stop it there. I don't want to play the whole thing, but I think people should really watch that whole thing. It really gives like a kind of a, it's entertaining, but it gives a perspective of conspiracy theories and also true crime conspiracy. But it's very like telling us like basically fear. It's you know, it's kind of goes with that whole Joker thing where like, you know, when it's a plan, they don't care if it's like 1,000 people die, but you know, if it's not a plan, people panic basically. And I feel like that's a lot of times with a lot of conspiracies that kind of go with that. A random act like that. But yeah, that's actually a pretty cool video. Hi, Queen.
Hey, Queen.
Yeah, it's a really good video. I think everyone should watch that. Unfortunately, the guy does ASMRs, but I mean, I like the ASMRs, mostly Harry Potter stuff. So I guess if you're into Harry Potter ASMR, like writing books and stuff like that, I guess. But this was actually a pretty good video. But anyway, that is pretty much it for today's show. You want to have anything?
No, I just want to thank everybody for joining today's show and talking with us, educating us as well. And I just hope you all keep safe out there. The weather has been wacky all over the world, actually. You know, I had an Ireland viewer message me saying that they're having really bad storms. So y'all just please keep safe out there. Help your community. And, you know, don't feed into the, you know, the conspiracies. Do your own research. Make your own conclusion. Even with us, do your own research from what we presented to you tonight and make your own conclusions. That's what you have to do.
And if we get anything wrong, just type it in the chat. I get it. You know, sometimes we get things wrong. Sometimes we get things wrong while we're on the stream. We'll correct it. But yeah, I just think like my last thing is Shogun. Cinema Shogun, you do great videos, but stop. You're getting down the road. You're getting with the thumbnails and you're reading articles and you're kind of pushing in conspiracy theories. And I don't like it. Do not, please You should not go down that road. Do not
Yeah.
follow that white rabbit down that road.
Yeah.
The hot rabbit hole. Anyway, you guys have a good one.
Y'all keep safe out there, and thank you again.
Bye.